again, in the beginning, we saw what happens when shills get their hands on access, and they like to throw it in people's faces as if anybody gives a. Well, apparently there have been people out there, certain streamers, that have been critical about Dragon Age, and I think one of them is the one who said the gameplay was very much like God of War 2018, very linear, very more simple, I should say. Well, apparently these streamers are being denied review codes, even though they were in that little pool of access, at least up until the point where they said certain things about the gameplay for Dragon Age to Veilguard, and others have been given review codes, obviously, that are a lot more positive. This is not something strange, in my opinion, because we already knew they do this, right? There's no fucking way that BioWare, a company that's already got a really bad reputation with gamers especially, is going to start handing out review codes to people that are going to either shit on the game or be a lot more honest than they would like to be, right? And a lot of studios do this, even studios that have a good name, but it just, it's access media. This is what this is. So how big of a deal do you think this is?
The exact opposite of Nintendo blacklisting Kotaku. Like, this is, you know what I mean?
No. In a way. No, I do. I know what you mean in a way, but still, how big of a deal? Okay, so that was a big deal when that happened, right? When Nintendo blacklisted Kotaku because Kotaku fucked around and found out. And that's why now they take every opportunity to try to shit on Nintendo when they can, because they're mad, right? They're mad they don't have their access.
Instance, a company said "fuck you" to a game, to quote unquote game journalists. Whereas here, it's only going to be journalists to get access, and regular individuals that make their career and they're living off of being legitimate good reviewers are getting fucked around by the company instead of vice versa. It's the dichotomy between the East and the West that is so wild.
But a lot of the streamers that are getting review code, they're streamers too. It's not just journalists. Like streamers, good old boy streamers, are getting review codes because
the streamers won't get it. But I guarantee you, the journalists, like people at IGN, Kotaku, they'll still get these codes. Streamers that won't.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, I mean, they're in the actual business of access media, right? So like the games journalists, they write articles. I mean, you guys saw. Did you guys see that story about that magazine, the gaming magazine, GAY? Like gaming, did you see that? Where they literally charge developers and charge studios to write articles and posts on their Twitter page for them for the low price of $4,000.
Oh yeah,
that's literal like access me like that is insane. You're going to these developers and like, yeah, I'll write something positive for you. I'll make a post about you, about your game, and we'll promote you. Just pay us $4,000.
Extortionate palm greasers, and yet these folks have the temerity to call fine folks such as ourselves grifters. Hypocrisy is not in the dictionary of our opposition.
Well, you know why they call us grifters is because they were the ones who were making all this money from extorting essentially these studios for positive press, right? Now these studios have YouTubers doing what used to cost money for free. Like the YouTubers are talking about the games, whether it's good or bad. You don't necessarily have to pay a YouTuber to talk good or bad about the game. If you put out a product that's good and word of mouth gets around and YouTubers talk about it, then that's something different. But the point is that journalists are so angry that now there's another option for these studios that takes away from their pocket. So that's why they call us grifters. They try to discredit us so that they can try to get their money back. That's really what it's about. That's why they constantly talk about money.
We stole their grift, kind of, and actually gave it more legitimacy, so it's less of a grift, and that's why they do it.
I don't even think we stole their grift. I just think,
like, if you use grift correctly, that means you're swindling people with like false information and whatnot. You're a snake oil salesman, and like I would.
Well, okay, yeah, I was being facetious.
Everyone in this space, but like when Hypno makes a video railing against Dragon Age Veilguard, he's not doing it to get fucking clicks. He's doing it because that's legit how he feels. Same with the way.
Yeah, of course, it's not actually a grift when we do it. I was just sort of being facetious and using their language against them.
Right. But we stole their grip because the reason I'm clarifying isn't for you to say you're wrong, but like just so the people watching will not know, they were grifting. We took what they were doing and not added a little bit of legitimacy to it. Actually, gave it legitimacy.
Yeah, it had
I think
lost.
We stole their opportunity to grift. I think that's what it is, really.
That's more like it,
yeah. So ultimately, the question is, okay, so now that we know this, how big of a deal is this, right? Like, is something like this? It's actually very similar to what happened in Gamergate 1.0 in the sense of it's about access. It's about journalists and developers being in bed with each other, sometimes in reality and not just in name, but
Yeah.
you know, they're in bed with each other, and how it affects gamers that are looking for actual genuine information and transparency. Because now, you know, if they're only giving out codes to people who talk positively about the game, I gotta imagine that you probably can't trust most of those people that are talking just positive about the game, because the people that are doing that probably know that they have to do that in order to even get the access that they want in the first place. So a lot of
Hey,
it
yo,
is
Khalif Adams, where you at? How's your next season coming?
Jesus.
No. Fuck
you
that.
just called out Booty
Khalif,
Adams.
what did you unblock me for? That's what I want to know. Like, what was that about? The nigga unblocked me. I
Interesting.
don't like.
I had myself muted. Sugar Bear wants you a trash.
That's what I'm thinking.
why.
I'm like, you watching my page, nigga?
Well, dude, with all the gay shit you've said on the show tonight, he might think it's actually possible.
Block or
Yeah,
unblock.
you were talking
I don't
wild.
care.
You were talking wild. So now that we know this, I mean, at this point, what more is it going to take for people, I think, to realize? Not that I don't think people realize it on a grand scheme, but people have to start realizing that these people that are shilling right now for stuff like this and doing this access media and whatnot, a lot of them got to be extremely disingenuous about it, right? Because you have people, I even had some people in my comment section, they were like, you're just jealous you can't get a review code, bruh. Let me tell you, I have developers in my emails. If I really wanted a screenshot, I can and show you. I have developers in my emails trying to offer codes. I just don't take them. I don't want them. I want to pay for the product. If I'm going to play it, I'm going to pay for it and give my God honest opinion about it, whether it's completely brutal or whether it's absolutely positive, or maybe it's in between, right? When I was playing Tales of Kinzera, I was in between on it. I was saying some positive shit about it, and I was saying some negative shit about it. But ultimately, it was what I was really thinking at the time. And that's how I like to keep it. But these access media people and these, especially these YouTubers that try to get in that access, they're not like that. So I mean, what do you guys think about it?
One of my favorite videos that I ever made, Hypno, was my, and it, granted, it was real early on when I was doing you. One of my favorite videos I've ever made was my Resident Evil 4 review. And like, I can say with complete honesty that now, obviously, I paid for the fucking game, but it was a very, I mean, you guys know my thoughts on Resident Evil 4 Remake. I ain't exactly a fan. But whether the game been given to me by Capcom or whether I paid for it, I can say with 100% honesty, my thoughts on it would be the exact same. Juxtapose that to somebody like Sphere Hunter, whose content I used to love. I watched her fucking video on Resident Evil 4, and Sphere Hunter. Oh god, no, Spear Hunter. That game, and I that's why I was like, okay, I can't take you seriously anymore. Like, you already were on the fence feeling like kind of a Capcom dick rider, but then I saw your Resident Evil 4 review video. It was like, no, you have gone full shill. I can't take you seriously.
If you shake hands with the entertainment establishment, if you do deals with them, of course you are compromised. Gigantic red flag.
Yeah, it's a admission of guilt. Like, if they don't even want to give out review codes to anybody they think will give a negative opinion, that means that they know the game is not up to par. So, because if you were really confident in your game, you wouldn't just give it to people who are going to give you positive reviews. You would give it to people who have been critical of your game from the jump and be like, hey, we're trying to show you we did this better than what you think.
That's so true.
That would be the smartest thing to do, but they never do that because they know if they give it to you, we're going to give our honest opinions, and 9 times out of 10, the games are shit. So that's why they don't do it.
Damn, that's so true. That's like when I told Abubakar Slim, I was like, you're so fucking focused on the people that hate your game. You're not even asking of the people who didn't buy your game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
you got all those retweets, all those people talking about it on Twitter. Not one of them bought your game.
Damn, that's facts, bro. And with all the controversy that was happening over the last week, there hasn't been a jump in sales.
Nope.
There hasn't been a jump in player base.
And the sad fact of the matter is, I saw some, as I was watching some of your stream, Hypno. I saw the gameplay looks pretty damn solid for a side scroller.
Yeah, it's solid.
I mean, like,
there's no doubt about it.
I don't know shit about the story. I don't care about the story. I'm more of a gameplay person anyway. And based off of that gameplay alone, I'd be like, yeah, I'd give this a once over. But I mean, when you go around torching the people that you're hoping would pick up your shit, why would I give you the money then?
Dude, and one of the funniest thing about that, because I've looked at the two games side by side between the most recent Prince of Persia and Kinzera Zao. I dare say Kinzera Zao is actually a better side-scrolling platformer style game than fucking the new Prince of Persia. One was made by an indie company, and one was made by Ubisoft at AAA.
That's why.
Now,
yeah. It was a
Ubisoft.
casualty of war, man. It was a casualty of war.
That's exactly what I call it in my video. Do was a casualty of war.
Like,
but
Mhm.
we
homie
defended
decided
it.
to try
That
and
was a
blame.
stretch, though. That was a big stretch.
I'm
But it
not
looks
even
better.
joking. I'm not even fucking joking when I say that.
I've played that new Prince of Persia game. It's actually pretty tight. I haven't played Tales of Kenzera, but from what I've
Again,
seen,
that's why I specified I haven't played either. Just going off of looking at the two side by side without having my hands on it, it looks like Tales of Kenzera is the better of the two. Now, when it actually comes to how it feels in your hands, I could be wrong. But like looking at them, I would rather play
So,
Zao. I'm not fucking gonna. For obvious
I've
reasons,
heard
but
people say that Prince of Persia is a pretty damn good game too, but
Okay,
ultimately
I played a little
it
bit.
just,
It's pretty good.
It just couldn't find its audience, and I honestly I think that so that kind of ties into the conversation we're having here with this, right? Which is consumer trust. I think consumer trust in Ubisoft has gone to the shitter to the point where people are just checked out of buying their games. Even back with Prince of Persia, where Prince of Persia used to be a pretty good selling game, not crazy, but pretty decent selling game. And when it came out, a lot of people were excited for it. I remember playing Sands of Time, loved that game.
Yeah, in the 2000s, it was their flagship.
PS2 dropped 3 banger Prince of Persia games. I played every one of them. They were fucking awesome.
Right. So consumer
Prince of Persia
trust is
used
a
to be a
big, it's a
game.
big thing. And I think Ubisoft as a company has lost it. And I think that's overall affected a game that already would have been a niche one to begin with, like that whole side-scrolling kind of platformer game. It's fairly niche market. I think those are affected even more so. It all kind of trickles down. It's a domino effect, and it affects it more so due to the fact that people just don't trust the company, which again goes into the conversation with this, right? So with Dragon Age, you got obvious examples of them trying to just get enforced positive reviews, on a company that people already don't trust, which is BioWare, for a multitude of reasons. And it's just adding to that more. And I really do believe that consumer trust is a big issue as to why so many games are failing now. I really do.
I do. I agree
Absolutely.
with that 100%.
Although with Prince of Persia, I saw the Killmonger hairstyle and immediately wrote it off.
Yeah, trust
people
is
just don't
the
trust them.
exactly. Trust is the ultimate currency, as well as authenticity as well. If the fine folks who watch you or you utilize what you sell, trust you and support what you're doing, then they will stand by you. And that's the key. We don't trust the entertainment establishment. That's why they're failing to resonate. The modern audience doesn't exist because, I dare say, it's a social construct designed to gaslight us into oblivion.
That's some lefty talking points. My man says social construct. Damn.
If you want to get people to trust you, stop giving your codes to people you know are going to give you a positive review, and give it to somebody that has been talking shit about your product, and prove them otherwise. If not, then they're just not going to trust you or believe you.
That's what I like when you said earlier. Change their mind.
Give the codes out to both sides, because then you get we can trust the company to say we care about the opinions of all gamers, not just those that suck our dicks on X.
Yeah. Exactly. That's smart as hell. And that's what I would do. I would be like, oh, y'all talking shit here, get a code. And then what do you got to say then? If you're confident in your product, but obviously they're not.